Welcome back to the Baltimore FlockCast, the number one Baltimore Ravens podcast in the world. No Lamar, no problem. Who cares about the Packers win? It was great. But the thing we're here to talk about, the Browns beat the Steelers. The Ravens are still alive. It feels good. I wanted to do a podcast earlier in the week, but Christmas happened to be on the same day that we record. I decided Steelers-Browns game really decides our fate after this Ravens Packers game. Let's just let it ride and record after. Whatever happens, happens. I had a good feeling about the Browns. The Steelers haven't won in Cleveland since 2021, since Big Ben was quarterback. And what do you know? Shadur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns beat the Steelers to keep the Ravens alive. It's going to be a winner-take-all game in Pittsburgh to take the division and fight in the playoffs for the AFC North. Man, it's exciting. I don't even know if Lamar will be starting for us. I'm tired of getting my hopes up at this point. I think we could even beat them with Tyler Huntley, but we'll get to that later. Man, it feels good. I'm sure you guys watched the game as well. That was a disgusting game, but man, it was fun to the end. Especially seeing Aaron Rodgers driving down the field with a little bit of time left. You just get worried and you think, it's over. But somehow, the Browns won. Man, a lot of bad things, negative stuff going around about Lamar and the team. So I guess let's just dive into that. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Steelers lost. Ravens beat the Packers. But, oh yeah, I guess we should really give Derrick Henry his flowers before we fully move on. Dude, 36 carries, 3 touchdowns, looking like vintage Alabama Derrick Henry. If we can keep this rolling into the playoffs, if we make it, by God, beat the Steelers, it's a force to be reckoned with. It's unfortunate. I saw someone put it on Twitter that it seems like this offense tries to do too much when Lamar is playing. And when they had Tyler Huntley behind the helm, it just worked because they just did what they had to do. I understand where they're coming from with that, but yes, of course, the play calls are different because we don't have Lamar out there, but you would like a little bit of a balance between the two. So I get where you're coming from with that tweet. I did appreciate that one. But man, negative stuff now. Mike Preston, everyone's least favorite reporter fraud, I guess I can call him. This guy, if you guys didn't know, he's the one who wrote the hit piece on Lamar saying he falls asleep in team meetings, he's a bad leader, yada yada, a bunch of weird things. I'd just like to bring up that this is the third time that Mike Preston, the author of this, has wrote a hit piece on Lamar. Every time he's done this, Lamar has been hurt. Also would like to bring up as well, Mike Preston, same guy, in the, what was it, 2005, Mike Preston wrote a hit piece on Ray Lewis, saying that Ray Lewis was lazy and not fit to be a leader and the leader of the Baltimore Ravens. You guys noticing a trend here? He's not, this is not like a guy you really trust and validate his stories. He just makes stuff up going off of emotions. He's terrible. I have never been a fan of Mike Preston. He is an embarrassment to the city, and he has some weird issue with Lamar Jackson. I don't know why. But the fact that people are genuinely running with this, especially, it's only Mike Preston saying this. I just think it's baffling. Mike, you're a joke. We had some Pro Bowlers this year. Who really cares? The Pro Bowl does not matter at all anymore. I remember being a kid and voting for the Pro Bowl and really hoping my guys got in. But I don't think I voted for the Pro Bowl in, I'd say, at least the past 5 years, maybe even longer. I don't care. I'm sure you guys are the same way now that it's a flag football game or two-hand touch. But if you do care, our Pro Bowlers this year, Zay Flowers, a little interesting with only 2 touchdowns, but congrats to Zay. Kyle Hamilton, well deserved. By the way, it's Zay Flowers' second time, Kyle Hamilton's third. Tyler Linderbaum with his 3rd Pro Bowl, congrats to him as well. Pat Ricard with his 6th Pro Bowl. Kind of feels a bit odd because this guy missed about half the year. Good for Pat, definitely deserves it, don't get me wrong. Usually with these awards, you see guys that played most of the season. Also have Roquan Smith with his 4th Pro Bowl and Jordan Stout with his 1st. Good stuff for the guys. Who really cares? One guy that did make the Pro Bowl that I wish could have, but I don't know. You could make the argument he's deserving. Probably not statistically, but Draymond Jones, man, he has been an amazing factor for the Ravens off the edge this year. One of our defensive MVPs for the season, I would say. Pro Bowl in our heart. I'll give you that one. Draymond, been a rabid dog this year. Big fan. That Lamar back injury, it's unfortunate because it was declared a contusion at the end of the day. And a lot of people, you see a back bruise. A contusion is a bruise if you guys didn't know. And it's upsetting because you think, man, my quarterback left a most important game of the year for a back bruise. That's really upsetting. Didn't play the next week against the Packers. You guys got to realize, yes, technically it is a bruise, but have you ever had a back contusion before? I have not, but I know people that have had one, and it's not an injury you really can just push through. He even said for the Patriots game that he had a Toradol shot, which is pretty much a painkiller or a number. Tried to go through and push through, and it just did not work. So if he's not fit to play, I'm going to trust the guy. I do think missing the Packers game was a little rough. I was hoping we'd definitely see him suit up for that one. Wasn't good to go. We won the game. We found a way. So I'm not going to harp on it. I just really hope that he is healthy for our season finale against Pittsburgh. Apologize, my dog's crying over here. I'm not sure what's going on. Playing against Pittsburgh, I hope he plays. But if he doesn't, I'm not too upset. I'd be fine with Tyler Huntley rolling it out, just running the ball 40 times a game, and just having Huntley be that game manager that we need. I'm sure you guys all saw the video by Isaiah Likely saying, "We ass as fuck" 3 times. Excuse the language for the kids. A little warning there. Probably should put that up. But it's a quote from the player. Man, that hurts. Definitely when the guy is on a contract year. I think that's the nail in the coffin that he's not coming back. He tried to cover himself and say that's not what he said and it was misunderstood, but I heard you loud and clear. Don't think you're getting that contract to come back. But he's not wrong. Team record 6 losses at home. Absolutely embarrassing. It's disgusting. And what is our big issue here? Some people say Lamar Jackson, which is very stupid. Some people say John Harbaugh. It's a mix of things, of course. I think Harbaugh is a great coach. This season was ruined by injuries, and if Lamar was healthy, his seat probably wouldn't be as hot, but that's not reality. Harbs is great. He'll be great elsewhere. At the end of the day, it's got to happen. He's going to get Brandon Hyde, if you guys are Orioles fans. He's a great coach, but the message runs dry. It gets stale eventually. And look at Andy Reid. You've seen Andy was at Philly. Message got stale. Did great there. Had to cut ties. Went to Kansas City. Great coach. No dig at all against Harbaugh. But if Harbaugh's truly lost the locker room, then he needs to go. If the message is stale, players aren't feeling that fire they had anymore, it's time to move. It's been 18 years. It sucks. Harbaugh's been a coach for almost my whole life being a Ravens fan. It's just been Billick and Harbs. But it might be time. I know we just won. We're in a winner-take-all to beat Pittsburgh and fight to get into the playoffs here. Even if we do clinch a playoff spot, I still think it definitely needs to be thought of that maybe we need to end this 18-year relationship. Even if we go to an AFC championship game. I know that sounds crazy, but look at what happened this year. It's interesting. I will always be a Harbs guy. I'm not saying he needs to be fired 100%. But man, I'm just about there. After this year, I think it needs to happen. And I know you guys are probably saying, oh, just about there. How are you just about there? You need to be all the way. I'm only saying this because we just beat the Packers. The Steelers just lost to the Browns. And we're now showing life that we could make a run here in the playoffs. I'm not saying it's likely, but that might be the only thing that would save his job here in Baltimore. That brings us to our next thing. Who would replace John Harbaugh? Who would be the next guy? Because you can say he needs to go all you want, but who's going to take that job? I've got a short list for you guys here. I'm not going to go into too much detail, I guess we will a little bit in the offseason, but this is the base list we got. A Clint Kubiak, the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. You know he's got ties. His dad was a former coach with the Ravens here, offensive coordinator. We also have Mike LaFleur on this list. It's the Rams offensive coordinator. We also have the Rams DC and Chris Shula. Brian Flores, the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator. I feel like I had to throw Mike McCarthy on here. I hate that idea. I do not want Mike McCarthy, but I'm sure you're going to see his name very frequently and very prevalently on the list for possible Ravens coaches if we do fire Harbaugh. But I would absolutely hate bringing in McCarthy. People would love to bring in John Gruden, but you got to remember, he is blackballed from the NFL. That one's not happening. He's not going to any NFL team. Joe Brady would be pretty interesting. And if you guys don't know who that is off the top of your head, he's the Bills offensive coordinator. He also was at LSU in 2019. Man, I'm sure you guys probably know how good that offense was in 2019 at LSU, Baton Rouge. Also, Cliff Kingsbury. He was at A&M with Johnny Manziel in 2012. Texas Tech with Mahomes. Cardinals with Kyler. USC with Caleb. Now he's in the Commanders with Jaden Daniels. You've seen a trend here. I think he's a great offensive coordinator. Is he going to be a really good head coach? We've seen that hasn't really worked out for him, but maybe we could kick the tires again. I don't love that idea, but this is a short list. Had to throw Bill Belichick on here. Absolutely not. We are not paying that buyout to North Carolina. And we are not bringing Jennifer Hudson to Baltimore. That will not work out. Steve Sarkisian, interesting. Head coach of Texas. I don't think the guy would leave the SEC. It's also after a little bit of a down year at Texas. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it's an interesting one to think about. Lincoln Riley, the quarterback whisperer. Man. USC, Oklahoma, man, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams, Jalen Hurts, the air raid legend. That would be interesting. A lot of big offensive names we got on this short list here. And last one to top it off, Ryan Day. I had to put him on there because he's a really big college coach that could make the transition. But I hate Ryan Day, to be honest with you. Not a fan of Ohio State at all. And it seems like a lot of these coaches that come from college and then go to the NFL, it's usually not the SEC guys because that's what they fought all their life for, to be an SEC coach. And that's all they want. It seems like a lot of the northern guys, the Big Tens, they'll come up to the NFL like a Ryan Day is more possible. But who do I want out of all those? It's kind of hard. I would say just quick, Joe Brady really interests me. Maybe a Lincoln Riley. I guess Cliff Kingsbury as well, but oh, I'm sorry, I completely missed. Clint Kubiak would probably be my favorite. Clint Kubiak feels the most Raven-y as a pick, and I guess Joe Brady feels like my gut flashiest choice. So take that as you will. We'll talk about that more as the weeks pass and the offseason really gets rolling in here. But that brings up one last question. Where will Harbaugh go if we cut ties? A lot of people say Michigan to take his older brother's job because Sharon Moore was just fired. But just this weekend, that job was filled by the Utah coach. Don't know how good he'll be there. Dude's kind of just a mid-coach, if we're being honest. So I think he averages like 4 losses per year. So that job might be open again soon. But the first thing that pops in my head for Harbs, I really see him going to Miami and kind of succeeding there. Harbaugh, the Dolphins, just it feels right. Hopefully. Honestly, hopefully none of that happens and we win another Super Bowl this year and keep Harbs. But if we're being honest, I don't think that's very likely. But our next game, we got the Steelers up on a docket, playing in Pittsburgh, winner takes all, get into the playoffs. Does Lamar play? I'm recording this Sunday night. Hopefully we're going to have another episode come out this week before the game when we get more clarity on Lamar. I'm going to make 2 predictions, one with Lamar, one without. I'm going to say if Lamar does not play and we get Snoop Huntley, which I think is honestly the most realistic guess that Snoop's going to be starting for us. I'm going to say that with Snoop Huntley, the Ravens win 27-17. No, I'm going to make it a little closer. 27-20 with Snoop Huntley. If Lamar is in, it's going to be a little rusty, but it's still going to work. I'm going to give a bit more. We'll go with 31-23. Not much of different scores. I think the Ravens still get it done. Derrick Henry has that confidence. I think maybe him fumbling is a thing of the past because he just had that huge confidence boost from that monster game. Hopefully that is a foregone issue. Don't have to worry about fumbling anymore. The old Derrick Henry's back, and Lamar can kind of just slowly ease himself back in since we have that weapon back in our arsenal. Thank you guys for watching this episode. Hopefully we got another episode coming out this week. Like, subscribe, give us 5 stars. We'll see you next time.